In a little over a fortnight, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the Union Budget of India. This is one of the most closely followed budgets in Indian history because of the precarious situation that the economy finds itself in. Former Chief Economic Advisor of India, Arvind Subramaniam, calls it India's great slowdown. Former RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan says 5% growth simply doesn't cut it. Economists are divided in their prescriptions for recovery. So what can and should the government of India do? On Wion Edit, we will compile some of the solutions that are being discussed. First things first, consumption is bleak. India is not an exports-driven economy, it's a consumption-driven economy. This must be the government's priority number one, how to revive consumption. First suggestion, go back to the roots. Begin with the rural economy. It's in deep distress. Over half of India's population depends on the rural economy. If the health of agriculture is crippled, then the economy will limp. Average monthly household income in rural India remains woefully low. This is because of disparity between what a farmer earns and what he or she produces. The government needs to find ways to fix this. Suggestion number two, solve the problem of bad loans in India's banks and shadow banks. The entire picture and extent is still not clear, and that is frankly scary. Take, for instance, the troubles with Yes Bank. Just when the country was coming to terms with the IL&FS crisis, we have another ticking time bomb in Yes Bank. The bad loan crisis is leading to another one, the troubles in the power sector and the real estate sector in India. Selling off assets in these sectors will be very hard. Suggestion number three, and this concerns monetary policy. Rate cuts are a good tool to facilitate spending and boost demand, but passing on the benefits is equally important. GST rates can be rationalized, lowered, in some cases to revive demand. But the real problem is the fiscal problem. There is no space for a fiscal stimulus, and that is a big worry. Suggestion number four, public sector banking reform. India cannot allow dodgy assets to destabilize banks. For a very long time, India's policy makers had a simple solution for banks with poor performance. The solution was to merge the weak banks with strong state-run banks. This idea, unfortunately, has run its course. It's time for prudent reforms in the banking space now. Job creation is going to be challenging too. That much is very clear. Infrastructure is one area to provide jobs, but in a tricky global weather and a weak consumption regime, solving the jobs crisis in its entirety will be next to impossible. The government has to act quickly. If the levers of demand and consumption are allowed to rust, then the path to recovery will be that much longer. Plus, fluctuation in oil prices will push inflation. Budget incentives to boost consumption will go a long way in restoring confidence in the Indian economy. The ball is in the finance minister's court.